But, and again, this book is The Real Cowboys and Aliens and UFO Encounters of the Old West, and it's written by John Lehman and Noah Torres. And yeah, I think we should talk to them. We should reach out, see if they want to jump in here.
Yeah, let's get John and Torres. No, actually, that would be cool. Oh,
Right?
Like, what year was that? Was it made?
Book
the book
itself?
written? Like, for those people, like the people that have published it. That's cool. If it like, so
No,
have you?
hang
How
on.
much of it have you read through?
I've read all the stories. So
Okay, so which one-
2014.
Okay, 10 years ago?
2014.
Okay,
But then, and right here at the bottom, it says RoswellBooks.com, Edinburgh, Texas.
Roswell.
But in the very back, like Softmax Plus, made in
yeah.
Coppell, Texas, November 22nd, 2024.
Yeah, so I'm guessing
So
Amazon printed
Amazon
it off.
printed it out there. So
That's cool though. So what is that? What story resonated with you? You said you've read the whole book. Which one sticks? Do you? What? Yeah.
I
which
think
one
the
do you,
one
would
that
you
resonated
share?
with me the most was that first one because obviously they said it was in Dallas, which I find fascinating, or near Dallas, outside of, and it's, you know.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to share that because too, it's like, you know, they were saying it was the disc. It was something that, you know, there was no sound.
Were there any? Did the other stories were they pretty much disc?
No,
sightings?
the other stories that, well, another story I did really like was it described something that was more or less like, so they were saying that it had like this, the shape of it and everything. It had like sort of a walrus type head, but it had like 6 eyes, and it was a story
about the Matrix thing.
Yes,
earlier?
because they were describing and it. Somebody said it had this tail that was like a propeller. So what happened is these guys were like, you know, at sea, and then they beached on this, you know, ocean. My God, they beached off this random island in the ocean, and there was apparently some exploratory observation thing being done there by some other guys that were also on the beach, and so they ended up like resting there or whatever, and overnight they woke up and to some noise and like ended up, apparently they went to check their time, or one of them went to check their time and noticed that his watch wasn't working.
And was this like the night?
Everybody,
Did you know what time? Like what? What
no,
year
they
this
woke
was
up.
roughly? I mean, was
year,
this like 1900
so
early
yeah,
19?
yeah. So let me. I can go ahead and just flip to it. I don't necessarily have to read the whole thing, but 1893.
Okay, so
so it was in 1893, and it was like they pretty much woke up because they heard some loud ass noise or something, and the guy ended up checking his watch to see what time it was, but his watch wouldn't work, and so everybody else noticed their watches were also broken, and they wouldn't tell time either. So everybody's watches weren't working, and there was all this like lightning or electricity. That's what it was. They said they saw like lights lighting up, and they just assumed that it was like lightning.
Yeah.
But then they looked up and noticed that the sky was just like clear. There was no lightning to be seen anywhere. And so they noticed that it was all out in the ocean. And they said that this like thing with like a walrus type head, and it had like a body that was like almost caterpillar-esque is what they described it as, but it had like bands of copper around it. And they said that it like almost they were saying that it had like, it was almost like horns or something coming out of its head, and they said that it was pretty much like spewing,
Revelations or something.
said that it was like spewing like electrically charged water out of its like head or something. And it's a wild story. And they're saying, well, they're just trying to relate it to what they know.
Yes.
And so saying caterpillar or serpent, or because there's also one,
again,
there's a story about a serpent in the sky.
Revelation, just like talking about, well, that what else? How would they describe something that we might have a more accurate description? Ours might even be wrong. But if it's some unknown thing, to we liken it to something that we know, so in the late 1800s, 1900s,
Yeah, and so they were talking about too, like, you know, because even one of the other stories was like a serpent in the sky that a lot of people saw. And, you know, so there was that whole thing.